Hi everyone, it's me, West Coast Mom, and this video is about decorative borders. So borders are great for so many reasons. It makes your work look more finished, it frames it nicely, it can stabilize it. Borders work for anything from dishcloths to blankets to clothing. And so I'm going to show you 3 decorative borders today. I'm going to use this C2C swatch as a sample. But like I said, you could use these borders for anything. The 3 borders that I'm going to show you today are a little bit more complicated. They're a little bit more decorative, but they do look really nice. Now, keep in mind that with borders, you can be really creative. You can layer borders. You can do 2 or 3 different borders, especially if you want a really thick border on the edge. You can do all sorts of things. And it's one of those things where you don't know how it looks until you actually try it. So you really need to just try them. So as my base, I have a little swatch here that I made in C2C. Around that I have done my foundation border, which I have a separate video on, and then in white, just to contrast so you can see what it looks like, I've just done a simple single crochet border around. And this is what I'm going to use as the basis for the borders. Alright, so let's get on with it. Okay, here we have what is called the block border, and the block border is a series of blocks around your border, hence the name. Alright, what's really neat about this one is that basically it's kind of like C2C as a border, because each block consists of 3 double crochets and the chain 3 on the end, which basically is exactly what you're doing in here, which is kind of neat because I think it parallels this nicely, and so I think it really goes together nicely. It's a little bit more decorative because each block is sort of at a 45-degree angle, and so that makes it a little bit different. But if you can see to see, you can do this border, so it's quite easy. So this is how you do it. Skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to double crochet into the 4th stitch. So you just do your double crochet, and you will see that it creates kind of like a triangular shaped hole in here, just like it has all the way around. This double crochet is kind of at a 45-degree angle. That is going to be the base of your block. And so you chain 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double crochet around this double crochet. So yarn over, I'm going to go underneath. And so like I said, I'm using that as a base to do my double crochet. Again, underneath, because that's my sort of base or foundation. And one more time underneath. And so my block consists of 3 double crochets and a chain 3. Let's do that again. Skip 3 spaces, double crochet into the 4th spot. That's going to be my base. Skip chain 3, and then double crochet around that. And you do 3. So each block consists of 4 things, the 3 double crochets and the chain 3 at the beginning. So, like I said, that's really neat because it is like C2C in a border. Now, since I'm skipping 3 all along, I didn't do anything special in the corner. I just kept on going, and it seems to kind of work out. I think when you have these sort of more holey or lacy type of borders, it's a little bit more forgiving. It just kind of all works out. You don't have to do anything fancy. Of course, if you wanted to do one exactly in the corner, I'm off by 1 here, you could, just fudge it a bit and that'll make it work. But basically, anyways, that is the block border. Okay, next we have a bobble stitch border. Bobble stitches are kind of neat because it adds sort of a 3D dimension because they stick out and they're kind of puffy. And they add a lot of nice texture, and they certainly frame your work nicely. Now, something to keep in mind with bobbles is that there is a front side, but there is also a back side. The back side doesn't look terrible, but it's quite different, as you know. And bobbles are worked always from the back. So let's do this one here. Now, you need to have that single crochet base to work it on, which is the white. Now there are different ways to do bobbles. I do sort of a small bobble. So what I do is 3 partial double crochets and then I pull through all 4 loops. So what do I mean by that? Yarn over and go through the loop and I pull it through, and then I have 3 loops. I yarn over and I pull through 2. Now if I yarned over and pull through 2 again, I'm making a double crochet, but this is an incomplete double crochet. So what I'm going to do is yarn over, go through again, pull through. Now I have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. So I've done 2 incomplete double crochets. I have 3 loops. Gonna do it one more time. Yarn over, go through, pull through. Now I got lots of loops. I got 5 loops here. Yarn over, pull through 2. So I've done 3 incomplete double crochets. I have 4 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through all 4, and then single crochet. Now it's important that each bobble is separated by a single crochet because then it stands out a little bit more. Let's do that bobble again. Yarn over, go through and pull through, 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. First partial double crochet. Yarn over, go through and pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2 only. Second partial double crochet, 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, go through, pull through, 5 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through 2, third partial double crochet, yarn over, pull through all 4, that's the bobble that's done, single crochet. Now, like I said, you work them from the back, so, I mean, it looks nice from the back, but you can't actually see the bobbles. You have to flip it over, and then you can see the bobbles. And like I said, it adds sort of a 3D dimension to it, which is kind of nice. All right, now because it's every other stitch, I didn't do anything special in the corner. It just kind of worked itself out, which is kind of nice because you don't have to plan anything extra or do anything extra special for that to make it work, because it'll look fine. All right, and so that is the bobble border. Okay, here we have what's called the woven stitch. The woven stitch is quite a pretty stitch. It's a little bit more complicated. We've gone beyond just single crochets now. And it has 2 different looks to it. It looks quite nice here because you can see it contrasts with the white. But you don't have to do 2 colors. You could just do the same color all the way through. Now, like I said, it has 2 different looks to it. On this side, it's a little bit narrower and has that look for it, and it's a little bit more delicate looking. However, when I flip it over, it's actually thicker and has a little bit of a different look to it, right? Because that's the back side of how it looks. So that's kind of neat because, you know, you might want to have a bit of variety where when you flip it over, it has 2 different looks. All right, so let's see if we can get through this stitch. Like I said, it's a little bit more complicated, but like all things, it's a pattern. You just have to get used to the pattern. Now this is done in every other stitch. So I am skipping this stitch here and I'm moving on to this one. Yarn over and go through there and pull through. So I have 3 loops on my hook. This 3rd loop that we just got is gonna pull through the middle loop here. So then I only have 2 loops on my hook. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those. This is only half the stitch. Yarn over, go back in the same spot again and pull through. 3 loops. This 3rd loop that you just did is going to go through both. And that is the stitch. So there's kind of like 2 parts to it. Let's try that again. Skip a spot, go to the next one. Yarn over, go in and pull through. 3 loops. That 3rd loop goes through the middle loop. Now 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through both. Yarn over again, go back into the same spot, pull through. 3 loops. And then that 3rd loop goes through the other 2. Skip a stitch. Yarn over, go through that and pull through. 3 loops. That 3rd loop goes through the middle one. Now there's 2. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over and go through again, pull through, and there's 3 loops. That third loop goes through both. One more time. Skip a stitch, yarn over, go through the spot, pull through. 3 loops. That third loop goes through the middle loop. Now there's only 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Yarn over again, go through the same spot again, pull through. 3 loops. That third loop goes through the other 2 loops. And there you go. So like I said, once you get used to the pattern, it's not so bad. Now this is 1 row of woven stitch. You could go back and do more rows of it, and what you would do is you would work in between so that they're all sort of offset a little bit, and you could do as many rows as you want. This also makes a great base row for another pattern on top. So for instance, you could do shells on top of this as well. So you can start playing around with borders and layering them, which is kind of neat. All right, so now because it's every other stitch, don't worry about the corner. It tends to work itself out just because it's every other stitch. And so that's nice and easy. You don't have to do any fancy stuff there. All right, and so that is the woven stitch. Okay, so I've gone and done a second row of the woven stitch, and so my border is a little thicker now. I went in between the stitches, and so everything is kind of offset a bit, and it's a lovely texture. That's what it looks like on this side, and remember on the other side it looks a little bit different, but it's still really nice. So like I said, you could do as many rows as this as you wanted to make your edging or your border as thick as you want. I could single crochet on top of this. I could just do, you know, slip stitch on top of this. I could do other things. So play around with these borders, layer them up, combine them, try different things. Like I said, try a little section on your work and see what you think of it. But like I said, borders are fun and you can be creative, and there's a lot of flexibility there. So I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.